What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Creatively Driven Podcast. My name is Josh McKenzie. And in this podcast, we talk about anything that drives you and motivates you creatively, be that through art, some sort of drawing, music, cinematography, photography. The world is your oyster when it comes to being creative, in my mind. Today, we are going to talk about photography. So, before I came to Alberta, I was interested in photography. I had seen some different photos, some different things that I was really curious about how things happened. I learned more about photography, but I never did much more apart from actually just learn about it, thought it was cool, and that was it. When I came to Alberta in 2010, I ended up working with this guy, Alex. And Alex Nickerson, he was a wicked photographer, and all he had was a phone. He was using, I think, like an iPhone 4S or whatever it was at the time, back in 2010, and he was using this app called Pro HDR. So I downloaded the app, and I was really inspired by what he was, coming up with, and I thought that his photos are really awesome. Great composition, the colors really popped, and I really resonated with that because it just was really, really appeasing to the eyes. So I did the same thing. I downloaded Pro HDR, and I was starting to kind of go for little drives here and there and really get into photography a little bit more and just understanding a little bit more about composition. So I did that, and ultimately I ended up moving down to Edmonton, and I met my wife, Sarah, and I think for Christmas one year, she bought me these camera lenses that were magnetized, and they just go on the back of your camera on your phone. And I think I got 3 of them. I think there's like a wide angle fisheye and like a couple other ones. And they were really neat for what they were. They kind of opened my eyes to the diversity in lenses and what each one can actually do for you, and kind of what lens is best suited for what situation. Obviously it was on a phone, like the depth of field is not what it is on a DSLR or a full frame camera. The sensors are much smaller, but I digress. I thought it was really cool. I really enjoyed doing it, and she had seen that there was a love for photography as well as music. She saw my ADHD at a young point in the relationship. So for Christmas, I believe the year afterwards, she ended up buying me a Canon Rebel T3i, and that was my first DSLR, and it was a really great little camera. It really opened my eyes to seeing things through a different perspective. I basically kind of coined my own slogan. I just said I shoot what I see, because you take me to the mountains, I'm going to be walking around wandering. I could be there forever. My first time driving from Jasper to Banff, it should have been a 3-hour trip, and I think I did it in 8 hours because I was going full tourist. Every stop on the side of the road, every roadside turnout, I would have out my camera or my phone, and I would just be going ham, taking photos. I love the mountains. They're pretty it's easy to take a good picture of the mountains, in my opinion. So after having that, I really enjoyed going out a little bit more, but I kind of pulled it out only when I went to the mountains. We ended up having, we basically had a loss. She was pregnant, and we lost a child, and we both kind of dealt with things our own way. I was, there for her any way that I could be. But I found myself reaching for my camera more and going out for walks, and again, seeing things in a different perspective. And that was kind of my happy place for a while. Music was there as well, but I found it was just a way to be outside and a way to just kind of see things differently and just see things for what they were. So I really kind of grew with that. And I had kind of been in that mindset of trying to see some more things in a beautiful light. So I did that for a while, and I'd always been drawn to cars. Cars have been a massive interest of mine for years. It's kind of what led me to my career. And I ended up getting the Instagram app in, I think, 2013. And I saw this guy, Ryan Nadeau, around Edmonton. and I saw that he was, amazing photographer for taking car photos. And I ended up reaching out to him, and I just said, "Hey, man, like I'm, kind of starting off with photography, and I love cars, and I love your photos. Like I, really admire your work." I asked him if he wanted to get together and shoot my car, and I just said I don't know anything about shooting cars for photography, so we got together and started shooting the shit about cars and cameras, and he was just as nerding out into camera gear as I was, and that definitely kind of fed into me, I think. But I remember he had a Canon 6D, and I shot my car with a 70 to 200, which was, I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know that he had a full frame camera at the time. And when I got the photos back, I was like, man, like, how do you get this to look like this? Like it really just intrigued me. And I, kind of went down a bit of a rabbit hole with experimenting. I ended up getting a book with different settings, and I can't remember the name of the book, but I got it for Christmas, and it just showed like different settings for different things. And like I remember one of them was fireworks, and I went, I think, on New Year's or Christmas, and I took out my camera and I captured fireworks, and I went off of what it showed me in the book, and it was so cool. Like light trails for long exposures, like your shutter speed dictates everything basically for photography. Again, with the exposure triangle, your everything dictates everything, but that will be another video, or it could be a course full of videos, but I'll talk to you guys about that. That'll be another video some other time. So I really enjoyed learning more about photography. I was looking for more to do with car photography, and I slowly got into taking some photos a little bit more here and there of other like Edmonton car owners' vehicles. And I found myself down at the Driven car show in Calgary in 2017. And that's where I met one of my good friends, Lauren Verhulst. And she's another amazing photographer. She was mainly cars then. And, she put out some inspiring work as well. And I thought that it was really good to see, not only another Edmonton photographer, but another female that was out there doing her thing and kind of was just one of the guys, honestly. She just didn't give two shits, was hilarious, and was just kind of another nerd like us. And we all just kind of fit in, and, it was always just good times. And I don't know, being around cars has always made me happy. It's just been a really easy outlet to be social and creative with. So Lauren, actually, we kind of kept in touch here and there, and she mentioned that her friends Rob and Nolan had started this group called the Northern Apex Media Group, and asked if I was kind of interested in joining along. I was like, okay. I mean, it looked like it was, other photographers that were really into vehicles, really passionate about capturing events and different vibes of builds and rallies and whatnot. And I was like, all right, I'm in. So I went to the Cochrane rally, and I believe this was in 2017. And I at the time I had upgraded to the Canon 6D, and I had a couple different lenses, and I was shooting rally for the day, and it was a blast. I mean, to shoot something that's static, that isn't moving, like say, a car, right? You set up the car, it's fine. You take it to the mountains where the mountains don't move, it's you moving around, you're setting up your own framing. But adding in a moving subject and adding like panning into things, it was a whole new element to learn. And it was something else to challenge myself in, to understand how things change based on what I changed in my camera. And I loved it. I mean, just to hear the cars ripping by and like the exhaust howling, the turbo spooling, it was really a bit of a feast for the senses, and I enjoyed it. So I carried on with Northern Apex, and I think did a couple other like car shows, and it was just fun to kind of be around like-minded individuals and see where it went. So from there, life kind of grew apart, as things go. You get busy with work, and like I had my first child, and we developed a family, and I still kept doing shoots with vehicles and whatnot here and there. But I like volunteered for it was a Stroke Foundation show, a big event at the Butterdome in Edmonton, and I can't recall the name of it, honestly. Bust a Move, that's what it was. It was the Bust a Move, and I was there for the day, and it was really cool to kind of, again, network with other photographers and just see what it was like to shoot an event. I mean, to see what the expectations were, to see the settings, to see the people, and all just a different environment. And I mean, I'm a social person. I mean, I think this probably says a lot for that. If I could talk to myself in a camera and record it, I think there's something social for sure. So yeah, the Bust a Move thing was really cool, and I started to do a couple more events here and there to kind of, again, see what it was like and see what I wanted to do. But again, I just always found myself coming back to cars. So I have done a couple other racing events. I've captured some drifting and whatnot. I've been up to the racetracks in Edmonton a good handful of times. And Jacob Gettens, he does the Outer Zone podcast for Formula Drift, and he's the co-announcer for Formula Drift. He had mentioned to me he was shooting photography and ended up getting into videos, and he started to do his own thing, and he was capturing footage for these guys drifting, and he found himself into Formula Drift, and he just said, man, I think you really need to come out here and shoot one of these events. It would be awesome. You need to experience an event and see what it's like. And so in the fall, in October of last year, 24, I went to Los Angeles to Irwindale Speedway, and it was what I come to find out was their last Formula Drift event. It was bittersweet. It sounded like they called it the House of Drift, and it had been there for I think 25 years. And there had been speculation years before that it may have been closing down, but it kept rolling. And the day of, he just said, "Well, there's good news and there's bad news." I said, "Well, hit me with the bad news, because then we can recover with the good news." He says, "Well, the bad news is this is going to be the last year at Irwindale." And he just says, "The good news is your first Formula Drift is going to be a staple because it's the last one at Irwindale." And I was like, "Oh man, oh fuck, that sucks." But it's cool that I still get to be here for it, and it was something else. It was an amazing event. My friend Travis, who shoots drifting, and he takes some amazing photos. He's been doing it for years. I told him about going down there, and he just said, "Man, I'm proud of your work, but the bar is set high for you on this one. You're I'm expecting some good work from you out of this." So, again, I had a really great time, and I think some of my best work actually did come from that event. So, it was definitely good. Apart from that, I haven't really done much wedding stuff per se in terms of photography. I would. I've always wanted to be a viable option for basically anything that came up. If a wedding came up, portraits, I've done headshots, stuff like that. I've always just wanted to be able to do it all. I mean, typical ADHD mentality is just tackling it all, wanting to learn as much as I can, set myself through the motions and just be experienced in as much facets as I can. So that's where photography has taken me. And I've recently just picked up a drone, and that's something else that is keeping me more inspired. I'm never uninspired when it comes to photography, but I find the drone is just a completely different perspective. You've got all your basic camera stuff, but then you've got the sky is the limit, literally. You're just moving around and different angles and everything is really cool. So I've been enjoying that. And as far as where I want to go with it, I definitely want to keep doing what I've been doing. I want to be able to provide services for people and, enjoy growing more clients and just seeing more things through the lens. I just love being able to capture things through camera. So I guess with that in mind, and with that being said, I'm going to leave you guys with that for now, because that's basically current time. And I look forward to, being able to bring more to you guys. And I thank you very much for tuning in and listening to my ramblings on these podcasts. And, if you have anything that you want to hear about, anything you have as a topic or anything for an idea, feel free to shoot me a comment or shoot me a message, and I'd love to hear from you. I would like to actually get some people on here as well to talk about creative things, hear other people's stories, how they got into their own creative drives and what they do. So with that in mind, I will see you guys in the next one, and thank you very much for tuning in.